The Joe Cronin Show.
I hope you hang your mother. This country sucks! This place sucks! CNN masturbated all fucking day. Dude, I will eat your fucking asshole out and then spit it into your mouth, baby bird style. Who wants to go? Call the show. I'll fuck your ass! I wanna kill myself! If I think it sucks, I tell you!
The Joe Cronin Show.
Alrighty. What's going on, Onision?
Wow.
Whoa. No, I'm just kidding. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to Out of Nowhere, episode 181. Sorry to be late, but had another issue there. The classic computer freezes as you go live. It's amazing. But hopefully that will be resolved soon. I've also got two heaters running, and I've got to turn one of them off because it is loud. Probably in the background for you guys, but it's still there. It's annoying to me, so I got to go fix that and figure that out. There's a lot of stuff to talk about tonight on Out of Nowhere. Hopefully you guys get the alerts. out there because I didn't go live from this channel today, so hopefully we are getting out there to everybody. We got Lana getting death threats and the FBI getting involved in this WWE storyline. One of the biggest stories, that's probably the biggest story to me besides NXT and AEW tying in the ratings, dead on tie in the ratings.
Yeah.
And then a TLC recap or
Smoke weed every day.
preview, I guess.
Barf muffin.
What the hell? Oh, look, the writing's back, everybody. They fixed it. See, I knew they'd fix it. Messy Balls, 47. Messy Balls. Messy Balls. Thank you for the 420, Messy Balls. See, I told you they fixed it. They did that on their own because I didn't do anything. So, Messy Balls, thank you. And I'm going to throw you up on the board, Messy. Messy Balls. What a great name. And 420 is the amount. And somebody will take home that digital JCS championship tonight. So TLC predictions, that's the third thing. I'd say those are the three biggest stories in my mind right now. So that's what we're going to get to on this episode. And then probably some other stuff and whatever you guys want to talk about and whatever Jake digs up in the back lord of the internet or whatever you want to call it. Jake, what's up?
What's going on? Yeah, we talked about it a while ago how this storyline with Lana would end in a reconciliation between the married couple. And it's currently sounding like that's going to be the plan. Tentatively, from what I've read amongst different news sites and compiled between, subreddits and whatnot, is that their plan is to have the fight happen between Lashley and Rusev. And then Lana finally sees her, soon-to-be divorced husband acting, in her honor, per se, and in the sense that he's defending himself. He's finally being a man. He's standing up for what he believes in, and he's acting how she wanted him to act all along, and that'll lead to their reconciliation, and they'll be back together as a couple. Some people thought it was, a plan all along, and they were just going to make Bobby Lashley look like an idiot, but that's a really, really stupid storyline. Hey, Joe, I'm going to sleep with Leah for the next 3 months, and we're going to make out just because you want to make me look like an idiot.
Yeah, right. It's already retarded.
So
women are idiots.
I'll let you jack off to a picture of Courtney. We'll trade a little bit, but that's it. Just a little bit.
Honestly, I've seen women do this, but this is still ridiculous.
That would be such a far fetch at this point, especially because they made sure she's been a heel somewhat on Twitter. She's been, traveling with Lashley. They've tried to make it look as real and exclusive as possible. So that would be
Lana the
a
Monster
nightmare
botching.
scenario. However they could explain that one, I'm not sure. It makes sense that she'd be attracted and turned on to Rusev.
Oh, shit. I didn't hear anything you just said. I forgot donations were on. My bad, Mirov. What up, Mirov? He said, Lana, the master botching. You and Vince should die together. Damn, Mirov. Holy shit.
Well, that's the thing. No one really acts like they believe in the storyline. The whole thing is just a nightmare scenario. And it's funny enough, as we said before, some people are really thinking it's legit, it's real. And they sent her tons of, good amount of death threats online. Enough, anyways, that the FBI actually got involved. So while they were speaking, Rusev and Lana was speaking to Comic Book about their experience. She said, I personally have received a lot of death threats. I've gotten calls from the WWE and the FBI. People actually threatening WWE. Having death threats on me and the FBI has had to call me and protect me. I got death threats on my comments on Instagram, on Twitter. I mean, people are bullies. I mean, today I opened my email account and I had this death threat on my email. But I was just like, the names of people that call are just, she said it's absolutely appalling. It's disgusting. But she didn't look of it any more than just like a case of cyberbullying. But I guess they found some of these to be credible. So that's kind of, it could be in the sense people were really trying to find a way to act on their threats here.
Because it's weird to get death threats on a storyline like this. Like, I mean, if anything, the death threats are from people who think this just sucks. Like, I mean,
or they think it's real.
But people really think it's real is like.
You'd be surprised. I mean,
a lot of mental people though watch wrestling.
Well, that's the thing. It's more mental issues. She said, cyberbullying is a big cause of suicide, and that's what she's trying to speak out on. It's completely wrong. She's trying to do a good thing with what she's saying.
This
here,
ain't cyberbullying though. This is like mentally ill fucks. But
that's the issue. It's not.
Yeah.
They're not bullying her. They're threatening to take her life, and they're being oddly specific, some of them, about it, to the point where the FBI had to give her a protection detail.
Yeah. Imagine if she ends up cheating on Rusev in real life with one of the FBI guys. Imagine the weird, bizarre irony of that, if that were to happen.
That would be
That's pretty
delicious.
wild, man.
And we've seen, the ratings plummet, and the overall fan reaction has been rather negative online, at least by a vocal majority. But the ratings, as far as like YouTube and social media, Instagram, whenever these things have been through the roof. I mean, we've said it before, millions upon millions of views on YouTube in such a short span of time. It's mind-boggling. And a lot of it is coming from overseas, but they didn't mention where the threats were located. So I'm curious if they have some type of, logistical data that says where it's all coming from. I mean, I'm sure they know more, but I wonder, is it more local than not, or is it people that are, because a lot of the Indian market believes wrestling is real, as we've heard before. And
it's definitely from India. Like, I'm going to kill you. But why you do this? My wife does this, I cut off. Seti does this, I cut off Seti's tits.
I can't really recall.
Oh my god!
Time in wrestling.
That's probably American.
Death threats, though. I mean, my God.
Oh, I gotta believe it's a lot, man. I don't know. Like, I feel like this happens
to the point where FBI's gotten involved, though. I mean,
this is weird. That's weird. Yeah, the FBI thing's weird.
I'm not saying there's not death threats, but to the point where the FBI's like, "Yep, it's not just somebody talking shit online. We have to give you a protection detail."
Yeah, yeah.
Even when, at the height of like Austin McMahon and things like that, there wasn't this type of escalation.
Yeah, that's a great point. There was none of that back then. I mean, yeah. I mean, people, yeah. I mean, that was probably the loudest and the most heat you could get for not having people like climbing over the barricades every night.
Yeah.
Because it was so loud. But see, that's what I mean. Like when people are like, oh, now it's all a work and everybody knows it's all a work. It's like they knew then. They pretty much knew then. I mean, they didn't fully come out yet until around, 2000 and 2001. But it's like they pretty much people knew. But like
everybody knew. I mean, it was still.
But they were into
Vince
it.
was branding it as sports entertainment at that point.
By the way, I tweeted this to Joey Janela. He retweeted it earlier, and it's got to be like one of my favorite things I've ever seen. Brazers. Look at the fact that he has a moon bun and put his fucking glasses on Tully Blanchard is just
that's definitely a sex act gone wrong. Brazzers is gonna be all about that.
And then the dudes like the two ropes that are like don't even look real tied around him. Like this is like a bad cartoon of a villain or something.
They should have handcuffed him to the chair.
That could be funny. Yeah, he should have. I mean, they shouldn't have done the lights out. That was ridiculous.
Get rid of the lights out, but just wheel him out in a desk chair with arms that he's handcuffed to. That's it.
That could be funny if they had handcuffs.
I think that because the ropes look real shoddy. Just by the way his arms are bent, he can lift his arms up. So
well, he's old though. He's old, and maybe Joey molested him a little before this.
Fuck him if he's old and he shouldn't be there. Knock him out.
Tie
him up.
You ever think you'd see one of the horsemen like duct taped with a guy's Macho Man sunglasses?
Turn the horseman into glue. That's what'll happen.
With Joey Janela's moon bun pushing him onto a stage just as the lights go out for 15 seconds.
Yeah, just to make a big surprise moment happen. Shocking surprise moment is that AEW and WWE NXT tied in the ratings.
How does this happen? How does this? How in the world?
Shocked.
Like, I feel like there's people like zombies are about to come back to life or something. Like, zombies are going to be crawling around. Like, some kind of weird glitch in the Matrix, dude, for both promotions.
And they both went down as well. It was a 6,000 viewer difference last week.
Yeah, to land on the same exact amount, though? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's bizarre.
778,000 for both shows. AEW had 851,000. NXT had 845,000 the week before. So,
yeah,
it certainly is very puzzling. I just, like you said, for them to be so exact that they're dead even is shocking.
Now, I read 18 to 34 demographic when I read that number. So is there another number that I'm missing somewhere? I mean,
that's the overall ratings that tied. That's straight viewership.
All right. See, I saw someone post next to it, literally 18-34. And I was like, wait, is this just the rating for that age? I mean, why
no, I think they were saying the AEW still took the 18 to 34 ratings.
Yeah. Oh, 18 to 49 demo and NXT 1 over 50 demo.
Yeah. So they each took one demographic.
Huh.
NXT is still taking a bit of the older crowd because there's more younger people watching AEW. And both shows are taking off Christmas Day. Next week is going to be the show to watch out for. I've said this for a few weeks now, but that really is the show at this point in time. And it seems like there's quite a few big plans going forward, at least with NXT. AEW is currently considering turning Hangman Page into a heel. They kind of started to lay some of that out this week.
They should. He's a dickhead, and he's like Seth Rollins.
Well, yeah. So Kenny Omega and Hangman Page were teaming together, obviously, this week. And we saw that Kenny was obviously able to handle the ending of the match himself. They had it won, and then Page forcibly tagged himself in, stole the pin. And Kenny, of course, didn't act like it was a betrayal. He wasn't upset about it. But he definitely looked a little confused. And they had that hug that Page backed away from at the end. So I think they're trying to lay some of the, lay the seeds in.
Yes, I can feel the darkness growing in you, Jake DeMarco, yes. Feel the power of the dark side of the Force.
Sorry.
I hate sand.
How about the fucking Star Wars trailer that came out today? Did you see this? What the fuck?
I didn't think there was going to be any more.
No, they're worried, clearly.
Apparently.
Because that trailer is like sick. So to me,
looks great.
To me, that's like we're worried like quickly. But the other mistake though with that is the trailer legit confirms a bunch of leaks.
Yeah.
So now you're like, wait a minute, this trailer looks pretty cool, but wait a minute, the really terrible leaks that we heard about are being confirmed a lot in this trailer.
Yeah, because you saw, the Emperor talking to Kylo, so you're like,
Come to my lair where you will fuck me, Kylo Ren. You will fuck me. Make my cock rise.
I thought it was going to be like a TV spot. You know how they do those 15-second TV ads?
Yeah,
20
that's kind of, yeah.
That's what I thought they were going for. But this is a full, almost 2-minute trailer. It's got tons of new footage, so I was shocked.
Master Luke, fuck me in the ass, Master Luke. Master Luke, am I going to die in this movie, Master Luke? Master Luke, something's inside me.
I'm inside of the android.
Oh, Master Luke, he's feeling my anus.
What was that happening on Corrupted?
Yeah, it was Corrupted. I just can't get over. Somebody did Chewy in the background while I was doing that. I don't know who did that. It was on Corrupted on Patreon, yeah. Make sure you get on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. It's only $1. You'll hear it. Yeah. Oh, it's in my bunghole, Master Luke. How could you let him do this to me?
You will feel the entire feeling of my dick.
I don't know. Let's so there's the big thing is that they tied in the ratings. Lana's got the FBI looking around because they're worried about something or other. And that
Cody clapped back for the low attendance photos being posted on Twitter.
Yeah.
There were people, one guy that posted the picture, he was just showing a picture of MJF in the ring saying, oh, MJF is cooler than you.
Yeah.
And it showed just how empty the, hard side for them was. They only had the ringside seats. There was not one person sitting in the, the next part up.
And, let's be fair because we do this with WWE all the time.
Yeah. So you have to be,
you have to be fair.
Here. That's the picture, yes, that was on Instagram. And I mean, you could tell nothing, no one. Cody said we had over 4,500 folks at 80% utilization, well above market, vibrant crowd throughout. We will definitely be back. the crowd sounded good, but they also mic'd them up highly. You could tell that they were mic'd more because I told you I could hear the pyro whoosh for the flames.
So I want to know what building this was, because what I'm betting he's saying, because I know what he's saying, they run smaller buildings usually because they
It was the Curtis Cowell Center in Garland, Texas.
Curtis Cowell Center.
Are you looking for capacity?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it right here.
Okay.
It's a 6,860 seat arena.
Okay. So let's compare to Boston, right? Like they were at the Agganis Arena.
And as much as Cody says that, you could see as the show was going, right before they were about to start filming for AEW Dark,
right.
Ticketmaster had, it looked like more than 2,000 seats still available. So,
well, the Agganis Arena in Boston, where AEW performed, has 7,200 people can fit in that arena. It says by this, 7,200 people can fit in that arena, but you take away the backstage for the staging, you take away the middle, you're down to about 6,000. So they have 6,000. That place sold almost out. I was there, but that was the second show ever of AEW, and they sold probably 6,000 tickets. So 6,000 tickets for the second show ever in a giant market like Boston.
Yeah, it explains why the pay-per-view is coming back, going to Chicago again.
But in Bumblefuck, Garland, Texas, they did 4,500 tickets, so that's down about 1,500 less than Boston. That's not bad. So, yeah, I get what they're saying. There was 1, 2, 3, 4 probably sections not sold whatsoever.
Yeah, and because they're not tarped off, it looks even more noticeable.
And, of course, we're talking about a 6,800 capacity arena versus, WWE runs 10 to 15,000 ones, usually.
And NXT never looks empty.
Right, because there's, 600
500 people?
Yeah, 500 people in NXT. What was that? Where were they last time? I mean, I'm trying to think of some of the other arenas they run.
They were in Chicago before that. I'll have to check.
I'm trying to think of where the other places are, because AEW schedule. Let me try to find it, because this is important. Maybe this article has it. Okay, yeah, here we go. So December 18th, they're in Corpus Christi, Texas.
I have all of them here so far. So
okay,
the first week was the Ocean One Arena, and that was in Washington D.C.
Let's go to the third or fourth.
That was
week.
sold out, and that holds 9,312 people. They had a selling of 8,020, I believe.
Wow. Well,
that was the very first.
Yeah, give me
show.
the third week or the fourth week.
Third week is the however the hell you say that, Lycaros Center in Philly.
Yeah, that's a big market.
Yeah, so that. Let's see. Do we have capacity here? Capacity 10,000. So it seems like they're going for that 10,000 and under arena.
Well, that's bigger than I expected. Because coming up next week in Corpus Christi, Texas, they're doing a 10,000 arena.
Yeah, and that was the same as the one in Philadelphia.
Right, so. But we're in December in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Corpus Christi, I think, has a bigger wrestling market as well.
No, it does. It does have a bigger one, but not that big.
Yeah, so even like you said, with the setup, you take away 2,000, you get 8,000 there. If they can do 6, I imagine they'll be happy.
Oh my God, I think if they do 6.
Because the Peterson Event Center, where they were for week 4, holds almost 13,000. It's like 12,608.
That's way more ambitious than I thought. I thought they were running 6,000 seat arenas and that's it. I can't believe that these are coming out 10,000, 8,000. I mean, no wonder there's empty seats.
But after that, they started to go towards coliseums instead of arenas. So, that was even bigger. That was 14,000 seats in the North Charleston Coliseum.
Wow. Okay. Well, but still, I mean, the bottom line is, you're not exactly selling out anything. I mean, I know that, like you said, they're looking at numbers. So my point in this is that they're looking at numbers. And if they're doing above 4,000 tickets, I think that they feel that that's I guess they feel that's successful above 4,000 tickets. But again, I don't want to make excuses for them really, because I don't know. It'd be like, why would we, I'm not going to, I think with WWE, it's easy to attack WWE because their ratings and seating is going down, 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 down. AEW just launched, so theirs is going to be up high, and then it's going to drop down a little bit, and then where is it going to go from there? And so we're at that point, so it's hard to bash them when we don't know what the regular thing for them is 100% yet.
Their Full Gear pay-per-view didn't sell out. Right before the show, they had 1,200 tickets left still at Ticketmaster, and that's not counting scalpers. And then week 6 of Dynamite was the Bone Jangles Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Right.
That was the go-home show for the pay-per-view. Uh-huh. And it was poor attendance then, too. You could see it from the tweets. That was back November 7th, So
with AEW right now,
they had many sections tarped off then.
It's so bad. It's so not hard to perform, but it's so weird to perform when you're looking at that dead seats. But that the hard cam's over there, so you kind of got to look at that, and you can't look the other way, and you don't want to show those seats. So, it's just so weird to have to play to the empty seats over there. And behind you is all these screaming people. But so my estimation is that they're taking in $250,000 a show. And these, I don't know how much these arenas are to rent, but I'm betting around somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000.
I wouldn't be shocked if we heard they were operating at a loss right now.
Really?
Because they have to pay the wrestlers.
Okay.
They've got to pay for the talent besides, the announcers, I'm saying, and the ring crew and the referees. Then you have the stagehands and productions and cameramen and crew and, all your staffers, grippers, best boys.
So I don't think I don't know if they're at a loss, but in my numbers, if I run these like estimation numbers here that aren't numbers that are fact, but they're probably around the ballpark of what's real, then they're going to make $10 million a year at this rate. They will take in $10 million a year, and that's going straight to the Young Bucks. So yeah. So I don't know. Like that's without including talent salaries. I included the payment to the arena for the rental of the arena. So I included that and everything else. So they're around $10 million a year. I'm talking about merchandise there and the seating there. And that's not the TV advertising. That's none of that. That's just the hard numbers at the arena. So probably anywhere between 6 and, I can't be sure because I don't know, but anywhere between 7 to 15 million, somewhere in there. 7 to, that's the broad reach, like 7 to 15 million somewhere. But I'd guess about $10 million a year. And so, look at the Jericho's contract is probably like 4, 5, 6 million.
Yeah. Tony Khan, his father, Shahid, obviously is, worth over $7 billion at this point in time. He's one of the 70 richest men in the United States. The only thing I see for operating costs at this point in time is very limited when they were compared to WCW back in January when they were, first going and announcing their release. So.
Who? What?
When they were back in January, when they first announced that they were coming with AEW,
yeah,
they were being compared to WCW, both being backed by billionaires.
Yeah,
and it's very limited as far as what they were willing to share for operating costs. We don't have any like public report of how much they're spending like WWE.
Yeah, their numbers on TV are decent, so
but it's less than $1 million each time, So it's not. I don't imagine they're garnering that much ad revenue. certainly something, but
How many ads?
and especially because they have that market that everyone clamors for, that 18 plus market, so that's more beneficial to them. Still, granted, I'm curious.
I'm betting they make around $500,000 a show on ads, on all that stuff.
Maybe.
Well,
I don't even know if WWE makes that much.
I don't know. Like, if you look at, so say like the average ad is $6,000 on their TV show. If the ad's $6,000, there's like 6 breaks or more, and there's about 4 to 8 commercials. I mean, I don't know, 6 times 7 is 42,000. Times 6 breaks, I mean, maybe 250,000. Per episode, and they're getting $250,000 per episode. So now you're looking at 13 million, maybe.
So I'm trying to break this down.
So potentially,
give me a hot second here, and I can kind of give you a working number.
My rough estimate, like completely randomly throwing this out there, is that they're maybe making $23 million a year as a company. Like, they could make $23 million a year, and then now subtract all the pay for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they have $23 million, then pay out to Jericho and all these other people. Like, they're probably paying the roster like $15 million, like, or more, maybe a little more. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers are.
WWE, this is a ballpark, and I'm going off of Forbes magazine here. So Forbes.com. This is from August 29th of this year. It says that left unchanged, they're stressing that the key figures, WWE pulls $122.9 million for Monday Night Raw annually. That's in a year, and $72.4 million for SmackDown.
Okay, so
both shows are loss leaders if left unchanged. So
I just told you they were $23 million. I think AEW is $23 million. That's sound right?
That sounds right, because WWE tentatively is making $2 million per show in ad revenue, if that's
so give me the Raw number again. The Raw number is what, 100 million something?
122 for Raw and 72.4 for SmackDown.
So SmackDown's doing 72 million. And I'm saying that AEW is doing 23 million. It's probably similar to NXT.
And then you figure USA is paying WWE $265 million per year for Raw,
right,
and Fox is paying $205 million on top of that. So that would seem to indicate potential for the shows running at a loss, strictly in terms of right fees versus ad revenue, because they're paying $265, but they're only pulling in $122.9. So there has to be something more that they get in order for them to stick around.
Yeah, what are they making? What the hell? Where's their money coming from?
Is it because they just get viewers to their network, or that's what I'm baffled by this? I mean, the whole article is talking about how it's essentially they would go as a loss here if left unchanged.
Because how the hell why the hell would Fox pay WWE to make no money?
Yeah, Fox's 5-year deal. It's $1 billion deal, $205 million per year. And SmackDown, before it went to Fridays, was only pulling in $72.4 million a year.
Well, let's go to the fans about the donations.
What else we got? Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
That's it. Some bubbly.
Bubbly? Look at this stuff. Oh,
what up, bitch?
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
That's it.
Bro, I ran up on JD and kicked him in the balls. Then I threw his cats down a flight of stairs, burned down his apartment, and crashed his V6 automatic Mustang.
Wow.
I am the motherfucking man. I don't know. I got nothing of interest to say during the rest of my due.
Jesus. Mike Hamilton, thank you. The FBI is now investigating you. Mike Hamilton, thank you. I know how you feel, man. It's a weird week. It's not been a fun week for wrestling anything, so...
Shut up and bend over.
Oh, no.
Finish it.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God, don't finish it. Please don't finish it. I'm going to finish it. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bath muffins. Bath muffins. I hope this reads in the British guy voice rather than Beck's Aussie voice. Bath muffins. Bath muffins. 69 bath muffins. I'ma eat a bath muffin out of Joe Cronin's booty cheeks. Booty cheeks 11. Slob 75.
Booty cheeks, baby.
Slob 75 eats bath muffins.
Poopsicle, thank you for the 950 Poopsicle.
What else we got?
It's going to put you on top,
A little
too.
bit of the bubbly.
That's it.
Want
That's
some
it.
bubbly? Look at this stuff. Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
That's it.
I would slob all over Lana's titties. I would suck the slob off those titties like 75 times. Where am I? Don't mind me, Rusev. I'm just slobbering the suck on her tits.
Oh.
Slobber the knockers, knock the slobbering, eyes, sneering face, slob.
Wow.
Whoa. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Holy shit. Will Tactics, thank you, man. Slobber knob, gobble knob.
You are fucked.
That was wild. That was something else, man. Will Tactics, thank you for the $3, man. And Poopsicle is now going to take the top spot on the virtual championship here tonight. Looks like Poopsicle could take home that belt. You know, earlier tonight, Big Matt took home a sexual title when Big Matt dropped a $100 bomb earlier on my stream. So shout out to Big Matt wherever he is. And where is everybody else? Hit me up on Patreon. EverydayJam, hit me up on Patreon, man. I've been looking for you all day. Something is weird with Patreon or something. I got to hit you up on Twitter or something. Frog off. So is there anything else, Jake, or do you want to go right into TLC?
I've got a shit ton of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff. So
wow, all right.
Nothing amazing, but this is it starts big, gets smaller. I'm going the opposite.
Yeah, that's.
But
above
right
my
away,
dick.
next Wednesday, both big shows for both networks. You know, obviously both companies. AEW's last show, NXT's last live show. So they're trying to go out with a bang and command as much of the audience as possible. NXT has both champion for men's and women's on the line, and AEW has their tag titles being defended, as well as Jericho and Jungle Boy doing that 10-minute challenge, amongst other matches. But those are really the highlights. So now, I said this to you the other day, that, you know, we've been speculating, and a lot of people feel like Rhea Ripley is going to beat Shayna Baszler for the title at NXT next week.
Right.
Now, Dave Meltzer, among others, have been kind of discussing it today, and that's being widely reported. They say it's time for the title change. She's the right person to do it, and she has enough momentum, so the timing is perfect. It's time for Shayna to go to the main roster, so all that adds up. If they don't do the title change, then they missed it. And I can really quite understand. I mean, what's left for Shayna Baszler to accomplish in NXT at this point? What's left for her to do? I don't want her to go to the main roster, obviously.
No, yeah.
But they booked her so well that once again they booked her into a corner because there's no one left for her to compete with.
Right.
And now they finally built someone up that can be seen as a credible contender. And if they take out Rhea Ripley, you know, they cut her off at the knees and you know, devalue her, it's going to take a long time to build somebody else again with this much fan support and momentum behind them to be viewed as a credible number one contender for the title. They put a lot into Rhea Ripley.
And if she doesn't come up now, then she doesn't come up until around February, right? Because then that's the next time.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand why there's so much speculation for her, for Baszler to come up for the Rumble. Some people believe that she might even win it. I'm still sticking with, as with other reports today that I even shared with you, that Ronda Rousey is going to be, coming back then. I'm still hanging on to that one.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with that because that just
seems to be, the most tentative plan at this point in time.
But they could have Baszler win the Rumble and Ronda come out to be the one that challenges for the other title, or they could have the opposite happen. Baszler challenges.
They could. And the thing is, as well, we'll get into that in a second, but, Rhea Ripley could win Wednesday, and then they could face each other again in the next takeover in February, and that'll be the second time that she beats her to prove that the first time wasn't a fluke. They've done that in NXT quite a few times where a champion wins the title, and then they back it up. They did that most recently. They had Adam Cole fight twice with Gargano. They had the Street Profits, after their initial win, they had to defend the titles. They did that successfully. It's something NXT likes to do to prove that it just wasn't a gimmick win or any given Sunday moment. They like to make their champions look as viable as possible.
I also want to I agree with that, and I think it's going to be Ronda, but it's very predictable now if they do that, because we talked about this news like 2 months ago, and it's still being re-reported again. So it's like
it wasn't even really much discussed. We were kind of the ones, in the forefront for that much, but now it's being more widely adopted, it seems. And I can see it for a couple of reasons as well, because they're adding NXT to WrestleMania. This has been discussed that an NXT star is currently the odds-on favorite to win the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match. And it's also been said that in WrestleMania this year in Tampa, NXT will be on the WrestleMania card in some capacity. They haven't said officially what that is, but whether it's the NXT champion, defending his belt, or they do some type of big ladder match, or NXT will be on the main WrestleMania card. I think that's a great idea. Not just TakeOver, not just involve WrestleMania weekend, but actually on WrestleMania itself. And I think that's a great idea, just like they did for Survivor Series. It's good to showcase them.
And speaking of showcasing somebody, earlier today, if you're on Patreon and you didn't hear it, for 54 minutes, me and Jake DeMarco talked about non-wrestling stuff on my Morning Madness podcast. Jake was my guest this morning as he sucked me off on my Morning Madness podcast. That is up on Patreon right now. Go download it. And it's 54 minutes. We talked about Ghostbusters and Star Wars and a couple other different news stories and about blowing each other. And I talked about some questions and
some crazy FedEx drivers.
Oh, yeah, the FedEx people bashing your shit around. That was really cool.
And some alien talk. We're all over the place.
Yeah, those little fish shells dropping from the sky.
Crazy. So what do you think about this? It's currently through Skybet, who are usually pretty damn accurate with their odds. Yeah, out, for Vegas betting.
Yeah.
Their pick for the Men's Royal Rumble is Velveteen Dream.
That's really out there. I mean, that's pretty crazy. So, would he challenge a main roster person, or?
Yes. This would be his, transcendence to the main roster.
What?
Because they feel like he kind of got, from what I'm understanding with this, he was written off well. Vince McMahon has something that he discussed that was pretty epic in store for the former North American champion. And what better way to unveil him to the main roster audience than have him come right out swinging and winning the Royal Rumble?
Imagine if he wins the Rumble, then he faces who in the...
Then he could face Brock, or he could face The Fiend, if they're still the champions by then.
That is wild. I mean, I'd love it. I'd mark out for it, but in
the
the
Fiend
long
and Velveteen
run,
Dream, I think, could be pretty
dude, I
awesome.
think we'd mark out for it, but in the long run, I feel like that could be...
I think there's other people in line that should get that win, but Kevin Owens. I mean, there's other people I think that would be not more deserving, but better served. But it certainly is an interesting tidbit there to see them, place him so high with the betting odds. All in all, it certainly is interesting. But as far as NXT goes this week, it's going to be one hell of a show. We will see Adam Cole take on Finn Balor. Some people weren't thrilled that Finn Balor won the triple threat, pinning Keith Lee in the process. But I thought the way they handled the main event last night was very well done. They went ahead. They didn't make any participant look weak. And Finn Balor as a heel was just able to capitalize as a ring veteran on a situation that, he kind of mapped out for himself. He went ahead and waited for the perfect opportunity and timing and was able to, get the victory and become the number one contender against Adam Cole. I don't think it made anyone look less stellar or weak. And in the end, there's still a lot that can happen here. I think that they can really go ahead and, continue to tell the story of Ciampa eventually wanting to take on Adam Cole. It allows Finn Balor, as we said before, to go ahead and if he gets the title here, there's a lot that can be done as well. So it really opens up a lot of things. The Rumble, though, that certainly is an interesting bit of news hearing that from Skybet. Velveteen Dream, we haven't seen since he was injured by Undisputed Era when he was feuding with Roderick Strong. He was supposed to go ahead and try and regain the NXT North American Championship, never got to do so. If he does debut there, just debuting in the Rumble, if he does really well, I think could benefit him. But him winning, he has such a unique gimmick that I think that he would be an acquired taste in the beginning. I'm not sure that he would be totally well received, especially for people that aren't watching NXT. And he really wasn't able to be on any of the NXT shows that were, I think maybe one, if I'm thinking correctly, for maybe one that was on USA. Besides that, people watching recently, since they've gone live on Wednesdays, don't even know who Velveteen Dream is. So with his gimmick being unique in nature, I think it would take a lot to sell people that aren't familiar with him. And him just coming out, beating the hell out of a good portion of the roster, and then winning might rub people the wrong way. It could be interesting, though, and, if you think about it, if Ronda wins the women's originally, and then they go on to have an NXT star in Velveteen Dream win, it could still send the crowd home happy, and it could go ahead and make people excited. And Melvin, no, that's incorrect, actually. We're up almost 50 viewers since we started talking NXT, so here we go. I don't want to see anybody leave NXT at this point in time, and Ciampa had outright said officially that if he's forced to go up to the main roster, then he's retiring. He doesn't want to adhere to that, that much of a schedule. It would be too taxing for his body at this point in time, and it would end his career. So I don't want to see that happen. Unfortunately, I don't see Sasha winning anything in the near future, never mind the Rumble. Right now, Lacey Evans is going to be taking on Sasha Banks to work her way up to facing Bayley. And it's said that she's going to be teaming with Carmella to try and give her, a bit of a backup friend of her own. Fuego Jacob says, would you guys be opposed to the next Royal Rumble winner calling out for the NXT title at Mania? With them saying that NXT is the third brand, and that is, the third show, and with them having such a strong showing at Survivor Series, if they handled it right and it made sense. But then again, I feel like it kind of devalues the other titles because everyone always holds the WWE Championship to such a high standard, rightfully so, and they're trying to lift the Universal title to that level. I think it would go ahead and kind of be an issue for them to do that. So, let's see here. The Velveteen Dream is currently the most likely to win. As I said, in the ladder match, sorry, wrong thing. It's 7-1 odds. I'm reading the wrong part here. So that's not bad. It's interesting for sure. But Goldberg obviously will be on Stone Cold's Broken Skull Sessions podcast with Steve Austin. And they're going to be discussing a lot of things. Obviously, his whole career. They want to pick his brain on what happened in Saudi. And, go ahead and discuss some of the things he said with McMahon and Sting and everything that happened at the end of WCW's days. But one of the big kind of noteworthy things that's coming out of the podcast right now that they're teasing people with is when The Undertaker's name came up, Goldberg simply said, I owe him a receipt. And people are thinking that after they had a terrible showing in Saudi, that they might actually have a rematch at some point in time. I, for one, I like Goldberg, but I have no interest in seeing that happen. They both need somebody young to work with, honestly, or at least somebody that at that age is still like a Jericho, more agile and able to keep up in the ring. Goldberg and Undertaker damn near killed one another, and it was unintentional. I know it was a bad setting for both of them, being such high heat, long travel, but all the excuses in the world don't write off how sloppy that match was. And then you saw them both redeem themselves a month to 2 months later when they worked with younger guys. We saw Roman and Undertaker do quite well against Shane and McIntyre. That was a fun match. That was enjoyable. I don't think we can get a rematch between those two that would be done right because they're both in such utter disarray with their bodies. They're in so much pain. I think it would be incapable of unless it was super, super short, which Goldberg matches should be. I think it would be a waste again. Goldberg was great with Dolph Ziggler in August, but that was, 90 seconds? And then he came back to the ring to do, a one more time moment and was already looking blown up. So he looked better, obviously, but that was also such a short segment. And on top of it, I think he expelled more energy just walking from his locker room to the ring. So
every time it feels that way because he flips out, and your cardio, like if I flipped out like that, even if I got in shape and I flipped out like that before an event, it's like I'd be dead. Because you're so you can't really recreate the adrenaline you get when you go out in front of an arena. Like you can't really. I mean, you can try to, but you have to go nuts in the gym and cardio to try to recreate that feeling. But what happens is like whatever your maximum cardio is, like it feels like that adrenaline hits that level when you walk out in front of a crowd. But then it always goes over that by 2. So it's like you better be in like some of the damn best shape or you'll be caught off guard going out there. And I think that's what happened to him a couple times.
But I wouldn't want to see this match as a rematch for either one of them. I don't think it makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know either.
I mentioned last night Dakota Kai needed staples in her head after she suffered a laceration going through the table over by the speaker setting by Mia Yim. Originally, Dakota Kai declined medical attention, but they forced her to go and get some rest, and she's not going to be out for long. Fandango competed last night with Tyler Breeze as part of Breezango, and he dislocated his elbow. He did this when hitting the elbow drop off the apron. He landed awkwardly and dislocated his elbow. He was sent to the emergency room. No further updates, but he was still able to finish the match and defeat the Singh brothers. And then finally, Travis Banks suffered a bad laceration on his eyebrow. He was able to defeat Jackson Riker, but his current status is day-to-day. He's on a concussion protocol check. So,
man, dislocating your elbow is fucked. I mean,
I've done that several times.
Really?
And I've actually had it popped in wrong when it was reset.
Jesus.
And that was fucking abysmal. That was so brutal.
I've never done anything.
I was 10 or 11. I was riding my bike down a hill to go to a friend's house, and a car, as I was riding down, it's all houses on the left of me, a car pulled into their driveway, and they just didn't see me riding down the hill. And as they pulled in, they not hard, but enough, hit my front tire. Like they didn't come to a full stop. I flew off the bike. The bike bent in half, and they had more like a cobblestone type driveway. So I dragged my arm down on my side and knocked myself out. When it came to, they weren't there. I went ahead and wasn't wearing a helmet, so I was in like a state of shock. I lifted up my bike, and it wasn't too far from the house, so I walked home. And when I finally got home, I was like, ow, this hurts now. Went to the hospital, and I had my elbow dislocated. And since then, I've just wrestling with friends, one time doing like a scrimmage game of football. It's popped out several times, so.
Wow.
Not fun.
That is so bizarre.
But it's extremely
awful.
painful until once you get it back in, it's
oh yeah,
it's
I mean
fine.
like the shoulders too. I can't believe an elbow. Like that's got to be worse.
No, it was not a fun incident.
Because every second
brutal.
Every second it's like bending and moving. Like there's almost nothing. Like with a shoulder, I mean a shoulder can be really really painful too, and it's all like until you snap it back in. And even when you do that, sometimes you're out for a long time after. But with a shoulder, it always feels like you can kind of dangle it and like kind of rest it and hold on to it and be like, oh, I need someone to fix this. But like with an elbow, it's like every movement it's always moving. I don't know, but that's just me. I could be wrong. It could be shoulder that's still worse.
I think the elbow was worse because when the car hit was my shoulder, my elbow dislocated, my thumb and my wrist was sprained, and my ring finger was broken.
Jesus.
So,
man, you know how many bones I've broken?
How many?
0.
I've broken fingers, my ankle in 5 places.
I mean, other than, the pop in my ankle back in last July, a year ago when I was running and I twisted my ankle and a pop happened and I ripped my ankle and there's something wrong with my ankle now.
Yeah, that was at the wrestling event, right?
No, that was running at softball.
Oh, that was softball?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
I thought you were chasing the
that
cart
was
messing around.
that was hamstring.
Oh, Jesus.
So
I'm mixing them up.
So seriously, in my whole entire like wrestling career, if you want to call it that, but I mean backyard wrestling, and then in real wrestling, and then in every sport that I ever played since a kid, and all the crazy jumping and running and riding bikes everywhere and doing everything I've ever done, and the biggest injuries I've ever had, sports wise or running or whatever, activity wise or anything in my whole life. The only injuries I've ever had are the hamstring rip or pull a couple of years ago running after the golf cart at the wrestling show, the running the bases in softball, and I'm attributing both of those to sitting on my ass doing this and then not warming up at all really and going to something and then running. That's got to be what those two injuries come from, that exact thing. Also, I was wearing low-top sneakers and my foot slid in the sneaker, and so that's what caused the ankle to rip. But then the only other two injuries were hockey, was getting hit in the head twice.
Yeah, concussions.
Concussions in hockey all of a sudden in 2013 and 2014. If you take those two things away, I had 3 or 4 sprained ankles in my life, and that was it. That's it. No breaks, no anything. Nothing. I did a flip. I did a moonsault on. I've told people this before. I did a moonsault from a ladder in a ring to the outside and smashed my kneecaps on a guardrail on the outside.
Yeah.
And
Ugh.
I was like in raging pain. Like I was in massive amounts of pain. And I was like, I think I just broke I think my legs are broken, or I think I shattered my, whatever the bone is there.
Yeah, kneecaps.
And it was like, it was like bruised. And after 2 weeks, it was gone. There was nothing wrong at all. And it was the exact same thing that TK O'Ryan did in Ring of Honor, where he did a backflip or a moonsault.
I was just going to say, who was your buddy that did that not long ago?
Yeah, in Ring of Honor. And he cut, both bones snapped, like, in half. So, like, but I did it off a ladder in a ring. Like, so I don't know how the fuck I didn't get hurt. It was just a bruise.
Yeah, it's sometimes bone density, sometimes just the amount of force, the angle, the pressure. It's amazing.
I've been really lucky. Oh, there is one more injury that I had, but I think all these injuries I'm mentioning are tendon issues. I think I have like major tendon issues.
It might be.
When Tosevich was over my house, my old co-host, when I did wrestling with him in 2012 or 13. No, it was 2013. He came over my house for a review because he only lived up the street. And if anybody was watching that back then, you remember, only probably a few of you. We did this thing where like I was like, it would be cool if I super kicked you. You know, like I'd be like, dude, you were hitting on my wife or whatever, and I super kicked you, it would be funny. So I did it. But what happened was Leah's base was on the floor. For some reason, it was just laying on the floor, and I almost stepped on it. So to avoid stepping on it, I slid and missed my footing, and then did the super kick and fell over. And as I fell, I panicked, and I threw my hand behind my back to break my fall. But my hand got stuck as I went backwards with it. And instead of putting my hand down like this, I stuck my hand under me and fell into it. And I snapped my thumb all the way back.
Oh, I remember you telling.
And
you have video of that.
Yeah, it's on video. Yeah, and my whole area here went black and blue the next day, and we were starting the post show. So the wrestling review was over, and we were going to do a post show. And I was like, oh fuck, I fucked up my thumb really bad. This whole area was outstretched, or something was really fucked up, and it was definitely like tendon or muscle, and it hurt. And it began to hurt more and more, and I began to realize that something was really wrong, and the pain was so bad. I would still to this day call that the maybe top 3 most painful thing I have ever experienced. The only other painful things that I've experienced that bad were that earache problem that I had in June.
Yeah, that was never ending.
And maybe the toothache that I once had before they did the root canal. And then after that, there's a list of some other things. But that was like one of the most painful things I've ever felt. And if you watch the video, and if I played the video, we're doing the post show, and I become more uncomfortable. And I began fucking shaking. I'm shaking from the pain. I'm like, I'm doing this. And we're continuing the show live. There's like 40 people watching us, 18 people, I don't know, something. And I'm like, Yeah, and then I'm like, dude, I've been to those type of things before, and I took ibuprofen. Yeah, and I'm like really suffering with it, and I keep mentioning it. I'm like, dude, this is fucked. Oh, like I'm like this feels like, and it was really like some of the most torturous shit that I've ever felt, and yeah, and that it was wild. You'd probably rather break your finger. Probably, I got to believe
when I broke my ankle in 5 places, I shit you not, it didn't hurt.
Really?
I was in the hospital and they're like, I was like, is it broken? They're like, is it? It didn't hurt. And it wasn't adrenaline either because I had to wait a day and a half to get surgery. I couldn't put any weight on it. That hurt. But just to sit there and have it broken was not in pain.
It's about the nerves, I guess. I mean, where they receptors?
How many times have I sprained my ankle or friggin' foot since I've been on the show with you? Christ.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen pictures of my foot purple and oh my God. That's so much more painful than breaking it. And that's why they always say you'd rather break it than sprain it. Sprains take longer to heal. But
yeah, because whatever this was with my thumb was pretty much healed, it felt like within a week or so.
That's why I'm shocked more wrestlers aren't injured more often, honestly. Yeah. I mean, with what they do and how we see them.
Well, I think it's the moving, too. It's just I got to believe it's the moving because I never got injured in my life, and I was always active, right? So, like, I was always doing stuff, and I never got hurt, never pulled anything, never ripped anything, never did whatever the hell. Maybe a couple sprained ankles from basketball, but nothing ever other than the concussions in hockey, and that was because we accidentally ran into somebody. Never got hurt.
Yeah.
But I guarantee it's from sitting here because, like, what if I get a call tomorrow and somebody's like, hey, dude, want to referee a match or something? And I'm like, sure. And then I come down to referee the match, and it's like Joe Cronin's been sitting at home in this desk basically talking for the last year, 2 years, 3 years. And all of a sudden, with maybe I stretch a little bit, but all of a sudden I'm running around a ring, dropping on the ground, and I'm moving around. And I can run. I can do all kinds of things. That's one of the other things is mentally I go, oh, I'll just get right back to it. I can just do. Yeah. I can dive all over the place.
The next week you're dead.
Right. You think like I can do this, but then you get out there and you pull something or something rips because your muscles are all fucking tight.
You donated
holy
50
shit.
bucks. I'm gonna take my dick out because you donated 50 bucks.
Damn.
You donated 50 bucks, motherfucker boy. I'm a rich motherfucker.
Oh!
Great show, you guys.
Rise of CJ. Thank you, man. Rise, what's up, dude? Thank you very much, man. Thank you for that $50 drop from Rise of CJ, and he's probably gonna take home the Digital JCS Championship tonight. How about that, Onision?
You would really do that?
Yes, I would. Rise of CJ, thank you, man. What's one of my favorites still to this day? One of the first donations ever, and one of my favorite.
Classic.
Rise of CJ instead of Skywalker. $50, man. Rise, thank you so much, bro. He's going to take home that Digital JCS Championship that indeed does have Jake DeMarco's jizz stains all over it. We know that's a fact. So,
that's right. Even the digital version.
Anything else you got over there?
So
there's more.
Where do we leave off here?
Super chat.
Oh, we got another super chat. My bad.
Super chat.
Here's to you, Joe.
Here's to you, Bex. Thank you, Bex. Juan G. Juan, what up, man? Juan, thank you very much for the $2, man.
So PW Insider was talking about how, a few weeks ago it was being discussed that cuts would be coming at some point, but probably not till January. Uh-huh. And then suddenly we get 4 wrestlers released. And it seems to be a sign that WWE's fourth quarter numbers are not looking good, and they're trying to cut back on as much as they can.
Oh.
So they're trimming the fat to try and regain some funds.
Well, that's
makes sense
funny.
Because people most of these guys didn't have much longer on their contracts, anyways.
Yeah, they figured, well, we got to do this now. They're going anyway. It was all people that were going to be going.
Yeah,
that thought they were prisoners. That would have been prisoners if it weren't for that problem.
It was also being said, again, this one's more rumor than fact, but I can see it making sense, is that they do want to release Mike and Maria, but they're holding off till after the pregnancy is over to avoid any type of backlash of letting go a pregnant woman. That makes sense PR-wise. I could see that being legit.
Right.
Again, take that with a minor grain of salt, but it does make sense, if that was a true reasoning. Sadly, USA does not want to air Tribute to the Troops this year, and WWE has no plans to air it on the network either. That baffles me. I don't know why they're recording it. why not put it on the network, even if it's not live? It usually isn't anyways. So
yeah, what the hell is the cost to them to just put it on? And
it's your platform. You have the server space. You're already editing it and throwing it together. Why not? If it's not going to be aired, why not do it? It's been going on since 2010. People look forward to it. I'm sure it would get some people to tune in, obviously. You know, there's definitely an audience for it. It's always been enjoyable. It's kind of like non-canon, but fun, and I appreciate them doing this for the troops every year. So
probably 20,000 people would tune in. They're like,
So do it on YouTube.
Maybe
for free. Just out of goodwill.
Maybe the production factor, they're just like, nah, cut down on that too. Fuck it. Just send the taping crew and tape it up. And
but really, all they need to do is they're taping it already.
Yeah.
Just throw that up.
Yeah, but then you need commentators out there.
They usually already have them, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Because they do stuff live with the troops. So.
There's got to be a reason that they're not doing it. It can't just be.
There has to be. But I'm surprised that USA said no. Well, probably just wasn't anything profitable for them to do, so.
Yeah, nobody wants to watch. You know, people want the troops home. Like, nobody's watching it anymore. And I'm not saying that I don't, you know, I obviously care that the troops are out there, and that's a good thing, and the people are serving the country all over the world and everywhere, but I think people are just down on that whole thing of let me watch tribute from the troops now. You know, 02, 01, 04, 03, 08, even like all that stuff. Like people were very still high on that, and
yeah, because it started in 2010. It's been going.
Oh, really? I thought it started way before that.
They did the actual tribute to the troops show started in 2010. They did things before that for the troops, but the official show that's basically been a holiday special started in 2010.
Wow. Fuck me.
So
fuck my ass.
All right.
I don't know.
Shit. Call you Susan. WWE knew for several weeks. It's being reported now by Wrestling Observer that people had failed the wellness policy testing.
Yeah.
Now,
so
Bryan Alvarez though seems to think that they didn't know that Robert Roode was going to fail the wellness test because they were going to have Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode go against the New Day at TLC, and now it's going to be the Revival instead. So they had to change plans for TLC because of Roode's drug violation.
And they still haven't said what those are, right?
No, that has not been released officially yet. So I'm curious to see what the official, report comes out.
Now the Revival is going to have to take another loss.
That's the thing too, and, But they said, it just so happened to be that Roode had a injury angle just to kind of tie it up with Roman Reigns at this point in time, but it wasn't fully intended to be that way. And now that Bobby Roode's out, they're discussing putting Sheamus into that role
with Dolph,
with Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin. Since Baron Corbin basically has his own like mini stable right now, having Ziggler and Roode with him, now it would be Ziggler and Sheamus.
I thought Sheamus was coming in with this big singles thing.
That's what I had, heard, but it said at TLC we may have both Ziggler and Roode. They wanted them to tell the story and to help Baron Corbin defeat Roman Reigns. And now he won't really be fighting all the odds since it's just Baron Corbin and Ziggler. So, what are you going to do?
Look at Lana's boobs.
Can't beat him, join him.
When I get angry or sad, I'm just going to put this photo up.
There's better of her.
Like, that's...
Just can't air it on YouTube.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
AJ Lee said she will not be willing to go on WWE's backstage show. She said, "I am
because
very
of CM
retired."
Because of CM Punk's sexist remarks.
No, she said my husband being on there is enough. So,
yeah, she knows her place. Stay home.
She got her shout out from him, with the whole little I Heart AJ.
Yeah, AJ, stay home. Nobody liked you anyway.
I thought this was interesting, and I wanted to bring it to your attention. Charlotte was on our good friend Corey Graves' After the Bell podcast. I didn't listen to it, but I did read the, the quick summary. And Charlotte went on to say, I'm not going to do all direct quotes here because it goes on for a while, but her basic point here is that the women's revolution is coming to a slow halt at this point in time. She said, originally everything was happening organically. When Becky turned on me at SummerSlam when I won, Becky and Bayley and Shayna closed out Survivor Series, but it's just not being talked about. She said, I have not watched the match, I have to be honest, but people talked about Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch after Hell in a Cell, so I don't know. It just depends on what's clicking with the audience. You have to look for the next big story. So her point here is that there has to be an organic story for the fans to sink their teeth into. It's not that the women aren't getting the opportunity or the creative or time. It's just our job to find the next story. I couldn't agree with her friggin' more. The women are getting the main events for shows. They're getting, stories written for them. They're on the shows weekly. At least the main event women are. And it's just not interesting. And she's absolutely right. It's just not a great story at this point in time, and it's not interesting. And that's really a true hindrance to them progressing as they were.
Yeah. I think everything's a hindrance to progressing how anybody is in the main roster.
No doubt about it. But it was fun and amusing to see her be just so blatantly honest about it. She didn't give it a PR spin and say, oh, well, the women are great and we're doing great things. She was like, no, there's a reason why it's slowing down and it's not as big as it was. There's not as much of a clamor for us to be the main event, and there's not as much noise for Give Divas a chance anymore because it's just not interesting. There's not enough there for fans to get into. She's right.
Yeah.
Becky's beaten everybody at this point in time, essentially. So she'll beat Asuka, either in singles or, we'll see what happens going forward. But it's a been there, done that feel. They had a chance. They could have done, if they built up Lacey Evans beforehand, I think it would have made it better. But
I mean, they're trying to, it looks like. But again, it's like,
But that's on SmackDown now. So, I mean, as far as Raw goes,
I think most people see, like, that's why Ronda will come back because
that'll be the one to bring interest back into the women's division.
It would honestly be better though if Ronda was the one dominating and Becky came back, because Becky's supposed to be the face kind of thing, and so having Ronda come back, I think people will be a little irritated by that.
Maybe depends on how they handle it.
Antonio Brown just tweeted out, "No more white woman in 2020." White women. I think he means like dating wise. I don't know. I think he means dating wise. I'm looking at the Twitter account because Antonio Brown tweets out no more white women in 2020, which, by the way, he's been trying to get back with the New England Patriots. So this is like not the thing you want to tweet out to the fucking gigantic white Caucasian New England crowd. like 80% of this fucking New England is like white. So like now you're tweeting out like, hey, like fucking no white women in 2020. But I think he means dating wise. But either way, I'm reading the tweets, and it seems to be that pretty much the white people are staying out of it. Like they're just not saying anything really. But
I don't doubt it.
It seems to be a 50-50 split between the black crowd. Like some of the black people are like, ha ha, you funny as fuck, or like, damn right. Especially the black women, they're really happy about this. They're like, hell yeah, and shit like that, and they suck. But then the other half of the black audience of his is kind of like, brah, like, what are you saying? And they're like, what are you doing? Like, whoa, dude, don't. I was like, you're fucked up. And, so it's like a kind of a 50-50 debate going on. And
soon they'll all consume each other anyways.
I don't know what Antonio Brown is doing, man, but he's so fucking crazy.
Ridiculous. WWE's plans for the Rumble right now is to have 10 superstars from Raw, 10 from SmackDown, and 10 from NXT. So that also kind of adds to the report I was talking about before, where they said that they are going to include NXT in the main, in the main card of WrestleMania.
Right.
And that also kind of adds to the possibility now of Velveteen Dream winning. If they're definitely going to have 10 spots from NXT.
I'll mark out if Velveteen wins, but you got to be careful that it's not another Nakamura. Yeah. Because remember, most of the crowd doesn't know this guy.
Yep.
You got to remember that. Like
That's what I said, because even the people that are watching NXT, if they started when it went to USA, they have no idea who Velveteen Dream is because he was injured.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been there. He hasn't been there since they went live.
You got to remember
maybe he was there for the first episode when they did the couch thing, and that was it. They haven't seen him since, so he's long forgotten at this point.
There's about
in time.
2 million people that don't know who he is. 2 million active WWE fans, because like let's say there's about 2.67 fans, 2.8 million active fans. You know, maybe 3 million active fans, but most of those are off and on. They're not watching every show at all, and you know, so you take away the 800,000 watching NXT. And you're left with about 2 million who have no idea, really, who Velveteen Dream is.
And that's not counting international markets and everything else as well. You know, that's just local. So
that's a huge mistake.
They have a lot of work cut out for them to do so, if that's the case.
Yeah, he would have to be on TV for weeks before.
And if they do, you know, some people are saying, oh, well, if he wins, then he'll have to challenge for the NXT title. No, that wouldn't be the point of it, because they want, even though they're bringing it up as a third brand, like I could see why some, you know, it wouldn't be the worst thing if they did it that way, but it feels like a waste of the Rumble. No, I mean, unless it was like really exemplary and they did something outstanding with it.
Well, it'd be a way to be like, if you were like, we want to stay away from this someone having to win. We don't want to pick the WrestleMania match right away. You know, say like they don't want to do that this year, or they're afraid of doing that. Yeah. They want to feel it out more this year.
And that is a good way to get them out of that, and you know, have a set NXT match,
right? Yeah,
and have that NXT match at Mania,
and
that does work. Yeah,
So
it's just because they don't want to make the other two belts seem less desired than the NXT title.
I would not. I mean, I'll make it clear. I don't like that. I don't not like that, because in my opinion, the Royal Rumble should only be for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The winner of the Rumble goes for the world title. That's it. There's no Universal. There's no anything else. It's just that's the world title. That's what it's supposed to be for, and that's all I want it for.
Yeah. And we'll sadly see, you know, whoever gets it lose to Brock.
I mean, I will say, unless like there's another... You know, I don't mind that maybe it could be for the Universal title too, because say there's a wicked hot rivalry with the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. The WWE Champion has a really big rivalry with, you know what I mean? Like say The Rock and Stone Cold were having this big rivalry, and, you know, you're going to build it to WrestleMania. But then the Rumble's coming up, and, you know, you don't want to just have it predictable that, oh, The Rock wins the Rumble, of course, because he's in a rivalry with Austin. So, you know, you just let the rivalry with Austin happen, and then... You know, the winner of the Rumble can face the Universal Champion, because you don't need to double dip on the Rumble when there's already a rivalry going on. But
yeah, exactly.
But if there's no rivalry, then it's okay.
And I mean, the thing is as well. I mean, who won last year's Rumble? Does it click in your mind?
All I can think of is Nakamura, but so wasn't it Seth or?
Yeah, it took me forever to think of that earlier.
Yeah.
I was like, you're drawing such a blank.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's unfortunate. Usually the Rumble is a highlight, but again, that's the kind of constant we're at this point in time. So they can manage to have Roman still face the Fiend without him winning the Rumble. They can have, you know, they can handle that entirely, keep that storyline, have whoever choose either, you know, one of the other titles. So that also helps them as well. So Roman doesn't have to win to go ahead and face Bray Wyatt. You know, it's just more for them to consider.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of safety nets for them, it feels like, at this point.
And what is
they're trying to cover their asses as much as possible.
Bray Wyatt's won the belt, and then he's had one match against Daniel Bryan, right?
Yes, and now he's wrestling Sunday as himself, and it's not for the title.
Against who?
Against The Miz.
Oh, yeah. That is...
Wrestling as Firefly Funhouse version Bray Wyatt.
Wait, really?
And it's not for the title. Yep.
Why would that happen?
Yep. Because reasons.
He's gonna like wrestle like as Mr. Rogers?
I fucking guess that's literally the card that they have official at this time. Bray Wyatt versus The Miz. It doesn't say The Fiend, and it's not for the Universal Championship. We still haven't seen until tomorrow night maybe what's happened to Daniel Bryan. And like I said
So
a
they're
few weeks
trying
ago,
to-
people were kind of against it. I didn't want it to happen, but it seemed like they were going to delay the Daniel Bryan feud and bring in The Miz. I said that was, kind of evidently obvious because they want to keep this going for a while. That was their original plans. Lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. We got The Miz attacked backstage. Bray Wyatt's, ominously threatening The Miz's family.
Well, they're
And
also
it's-
trying to keep the villain, the Fiend, fresh. It sounds like now. So now this is Vince being like, let's see if he draws the same with this. And now they're like, he's like Finn Balor.
Yeah, and they're trying to make Bray a bit more evil because he wants to play with The Miz and his family in his funhouse.
Wow. So this is like this is the demon in Balor.
Yeah,
I just can't get over that. Like I did not.
I know.
I had no idea.
I thought that we would have, his one, would be the talker, the other would be the wrestler, but that's really not the point. John was saying before, have Maurice be in the funhouse with a Fiend mask on. On Twitter, he was saying that to me, and I'm like, that's not the worst thing. Just being like a kidnapped victim, like really go into it, but they won't go that far with it.
Yeah, she got 2 kids at home.
Well, that was the point, because go with the whole abduction angle, and she shows up to the arena because he's worried about her, and now Bray because Bray kept saying he's going to get someone new for the funhouse. Lo and behold, that was it. It's not just Daniel Bryan, it's Maurice. That was his plan. He's taking away the Miz's family.
It'd be funny if she had a baby bump puppet.
And like you said as well, they went ahead and they really had the Miz be like, why would you face the Fiend? It's ridiculous. It's terrible. It ends your career. It ruins you. It changes you.
Then he does it.
Well, no, he's not. He's facing Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's
why they did that.
That's the the interesting part of this.
What the fuck are they doing? Like
I don't know. I am intrigued by it. I'm curious how he's going to come to the ring, because they're not going to do the let him in portion that he does with the the lantern and all that, are they? I don't think so. Is it going to be a red light still when he's not wrestling as the Fiend? I doubt it. Thankfully, hopefully. I'm surprised it's not for the title. So does that mean the Fiend is the only one that actually can defend the belt? Or
Yeah, I'm really confused. That's not for the belt. I mean, I guess he could.
There's so much.
936 is on the phone. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Fuck you, Joe Conan.
Why?
You hate my people of India.
I like India.
No, you do not. You and H3 do not like Indians.
I think H3 doesn't not like Indians, and I like Indians. I got a doctor, an Indian doctor.
Yeah, I'm the one that doesn't like you stinky bastards.
Oh.
Hey, fuck you. That's why you like Billie Eilish.
Jake, that's why you like Billie Eilish. Yeah, that crack a hoe.
Jake?
What? Oh, Jake said. Jake said you smell like brown rice.
Soggy brown rice. If you're going to quote me, get it right.
No, we love you though.
Faggot.
We love Indians though. Without them, we wouldn't have taken over this whole country here.
Well, that's natives, but hey.
Oh, that's Native American Indian.
You're lumping them all in.
That's different people. No, but we love you, man. We do. It's all good. Oh, he left. What the hell?
Oh, he left.
That's too bad, man. I wanted to talk to him. I mean, Pradesh Muhamdar is one of our favorite listeners, and he does music for Bollywood movies now. I mean, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You piece of shit.
Most Blaze. Tag.
You piece of shit. So Skype still has a problem because after that call, I tried to take another call, and I can't take it. So Skype is right back to the problem of you can only take one call, and then it breaks. So sorry about that, guys. That was our one call, and it was a troll call, I think. But anyway, we love you, India. Yeah, we will make fun of you, though.
Good news is we saw Casey Catanzaro at the Performance Center.
Naked.
So she might be returning.
And she was nude.
She was.
No, she left right because of a weird injury or something?
Yeah, and then she wasn't sure. It was said that she might retire, and then she kind of went against those rumors. And Nothing was ever officially stated. She said she would be back, but then it was kind of left pretty open-ended, and now she's back at the Performance Center, so good on her.
I wonder if she's going to be back like totally cool, or if she's going to change up her whole style, because her wrestling style was kind of like just like the fucking Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey circus out there.
Yeah, because she was going for the Ninja Warrior look.
Yeah, there you go.
Because of where she competed beforehand. She was, climbing all over the place and doing these crazy stunts. This is coming from Squared Circle Sirens. They said that they saw her at the Performance Center today, so December 12th, and they're hoping that this is a sign of her return being in the works.
Yeah, that'd be good if she came back, and she
had that great spot in the Women's Rumble match.
Yeah, that was really
memorable. So
she'll always have that.
And she was the former American Ninja Warrior winner, so there's that as well.
Super chat.
Tyler Knox.
Was it Cornflakes who sent the death threats?
Is Cornflakes who sent the death threats? Tyler Knox, thanks for the donation. Who's Cornflakes? Am I supposed to know that person?
Shit bomb.
No Guy's tribute to the troops was started in 2003 in Baghdad, Iraq.
That's what I thought.
Stone Cold stunned Big Show and John Cena at the end of the show. Also as well the show where backstage that Chris Benoit got the ropes and pillows that killed himself and his family.
Oh. Is that really true? But I mean, I thought I did think it was 2003. I mean, I thought so.
Yeah, but the actual televised special hasn't been happening since the full hour special as they've done it has gone since 2010.
Really? I don't know.
That's why I said they did stuff for Tribute to the Troops before that, the actual televised.
I crap my bloody knickers, Charlie ho.
What? What?
Here we go. I'm about to get it, man. Here we go. About to get it, man.
Charlie ho.
Here we go.
Oh.
Unfortunately, Vince's plan is to have Roman win and face the Fiend.
That's what we heard about that. I wouldn't be surprised about that villain. Villain, thank you, man. God damn it, they can't hate him. He had cancer. They're going to love him. The villain, thanks for the donation, man. Thanks to the villain, Juan G, and I'm here to correct you for the corrections, no doubt about it.
In 2010, WWE held its first domestically hosted Tribute to the Troops in Fort Hood. That was the one to be aired on NBC December 18th for 1 hour with a message from the former President George W. Bush. A 2-hour version aired on December 22nd on USA. This was their first holiday themed, and they went all out, as it says, for that format. That's continued consistently since 2010. As I said, they did stuff as Tribute to the Troops beforehand, but this iteration of it has gone since 2010.
Well, I think we should do the TLC prediction probably on another day, Friday, Saturday. One of those things.
Sounds good. I got to pick Danny's brain anyways.
Alrighty. Listen, Rise of CJ, man. Thank you so much for the $50. You are looking like you're taking home.
Badass.
Yeah, a badass.
And plus, as you said, we have to wait, not have to, but should wait till SmackDown's over.
Yeah.
To see, because right now we don't know. It looks like it's going to be the Revival. I'm pretty sure that's definitive, but we still don't know who the Viking Raiders are facing. That's to be determined. And there might be another match or two added tomorrow night on SmackDown.
Yeah, it's like things might get added last minute and close to last minute, so...
That's why I usually, we go beforehand when it's more fleshed out. Like Survivor Series, we knew, but
right,
we don't know if Daniel Bryan's getting involved in any way, or there's different things to speculate at this point in time. So,
and for I got nothing else to say other than to listen to me and Jake's podcast that's up on Patreon after this if you can. We talk about a whole bunch of shit, including Ghostbusters and some news stories and things like that. And over on my gaming channel, Evil Spectrum 3. Earlier today, I talked about Diablo 4, and I talked about Diablo 3 seasons, and Eggman, who was banned from all of Blizzard for his exploit of Diablo 3's Season 19, and I talked a little bit about Diablo 4 and everything. So if you're a super dork into Diablo shit, that's up on Evil Spectrum 3 right now. and more. Give that some love on my other YouTube channel. If you're into that thing, I'm betting only about 8 of you in the chat give a shit about that. But hey, it's good to get I could use anybody who's an actual ARPG fan or a Diablo fan or whatever to go check that out. And of course on Patreon, me and Jake's podcast. Tomorrow night is Monetize This on Corrupted Nation.
Super chat.
And here comes the super chat.
Just rejoin Patreoning back, Joe.
Oh, Michael Sachs, man, what's up? Thank you and welcome back. And thanks to everybody who upped their pledges this week. Michael Sachs, welcome back. Enjoy the content as always. Thanks for the support as always. And shout out to Tony Diesel, who went up to the Hyundai spot, which is crazy. And Gelfman, who's back as well. He's off and on and back and Gelfman changes his thing like every day, I feel like. I don't know what's up with him. But let me know if there's a problem, Gelfman. But everything's good to go. We love you. Kisses, hearts, and love. And Jism. Jake, anything you want to say?
I also forgot to mention before, Matt the Misfit pointed out that it looks like the person Brandy's was rubbing, the bald guy's head.
Yeah.
Looks to be Dr. Luther. He's another one, like an independent wrestler.
Yep.
Hopefully they build him up, though, before they unveil him. Hopefully it's not another Butcher Blade incident because...
Well, it's already
I
not.
didn't know who the
It's
hell
not
it was.
because he's already appeared in some sort of way. It's already
His
not.
face hasn't been shown, but
Yeah, but-
I mean, yeah. But the point is, like, even if they do unveil him, I hope they don't treat it like this is somebody you're supposed to know, and it's shocking.
Yeah, nobody knows
they
who
build
this
him
guy
up
is.
as a new person. Because with the Butcher and Blade, they acted like, oh my God, it's Stone Cold.
Well, even with this guy, they acted like, oh, don't show your face or people are going to know who you are. But nobody knows who the fuck he is. Unless it's Raven. I mean, not Raven, Vampiro, like people were saying. But
People were thinking it was Raven as well, so...
I mean, I don't think it's definitely not Raven. The guy's lips are way too small.
Yeah, there's...
I know them lips anywhere from Raven.
That's right.
But monetize this tomorrow. It's going to be wet. It's going to be hard. And hit me up on Twitter at CorruptedPod. Hit Jake up at Countdown Ended. And it's Countdown Ended on YouTube for Jake. And give us some love on Patreon if you haven't already to keep us alive. And you also get 30 hours of bonus content. I'll get the audio version of this episode up to Joe Cronin Show on iTunes and Spotify as soon as I can. So that should be up there. Check out myself on Spotify. Joe Cronin Show on Spotify. Plus our buddy Spaz Phoenix. And we out.
Stay sexy, y'all.
Stay wet. Thank you to Rise of CJ.